All right, welcome back. It's time to do the next step on our movie quotes app, which is actually to make the model. So the model itself is going to have a couple different things, right? So it's going to have the quote, right? It's going to have the movie from which it came, and then we're going to have like the time that it was created. And again, so we can sort them from time. So really, pretty much just for display, right? So pretty straightforward. A couple strings, and then a date-time object, right? So writing some code. First thing that we're going to need to do is to get proto data store, right, from endpoints. We're going to have to download the library. So let's go ahead and do that. So probably the easiest thing is to go to endpoints, proto, and then data store. Let's see, I already looked for this. And it should bring you to a GitHub repo, right? So we can go here and click in this guy. And we'll see from Google Cloud Platform, Endpoints Proto Data Store. You can go ahead and download the zip if you'd like. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that and download it into my downloads folder, save it there, and I already have it there. Sure, why not? Let's go ahead and replace it. Make sure we've got the latest and greatest. And what you want to do is from here, you want to grab the Endpoints Proto Data Store folder, right? And you're going to want to drag that right into your Eclipse project, however you want to copy that in. So what I'm going to do is take this guy and just drag it right into this Backend movie quotes, and it should come in and it should look like a Python project here. So close that guy up. All right, and now we've got it, and we'll see that this has an NDB library and it has a few different classes and everything within it. All right, so that looks decent. So let's go ahead and do some things to use it. So go back to app.yaml. I'm going to have this open up right in Eclipse, so I'm going to do open with text editor. And this guy, I'm going to want to add a library. So I'm going to do kind of following what it did for Web App 2 here. So I'm going to do dash name, and this guy is going to be endpoints, and then the version is just going to be latest, right? And that's what I like to use, just so it always grabs the latest version that I have. All right. So it looks good. And back inside the project, I'm going to right click and make myself a Python file. So let's say new PyDev module, and this guy package is okay. And then the name is going to be models, and that's going to add the .py for me so I don't type that. So models, and we can see it's going to make models.py. It's fine to make it as empty. Looks good. All right, so just make this myself. And what we want to do is we want to make our movie quote class. So that's a pretty easy thing to do in Python, right? So we type in the word class, and then the name of our class. Inheritance in Python, you just use the name of the superclass in parentheses. So this guy is going to be endpoints model, right? And let's see if it can figure out where it came from, right? So if I hit Control Space on this guy, so it knows that it's here. And if I hit Enter, then it's going to be doing the import for me automatically, right? So from endpoints proto data store .ndb, this is the NoSQL database, and model, then it imports the endpoints model, right? Let's go ahead and fill this in with just a doc string, so triply quoted here, and I'll say that this is just going to say that it's a movie quote, and the title of the movie it came from. All right. And if we just wanted to make it empty, we could pass. All right, but what we want to do is go ahead and set some properties. So let's go ahead and do that. So in Python, we just sort of define them, right? So we're going to have a quote here, and what that's going to be is an NDB dot, and I can start typing in string property. So hit space here. Let's keep going here. So string dot. Or string, excuse me, keep going, P for property. And it looks like I'm going to need to import NDB for it to be able to complete correctly. So let's go ahead here and import NDB. and so I need to know where to get that from. So let's try that again. So I'm going to say from Google. So this is an App Engine thing. So google.appengine looks like external right here. Then I will import NDB from that, and that should come up. Okay, it's happy with that. So now going back here, so I was in the middle of typing NDB dot, and now we see I get to string property, and we're going to be constructing one of these guys. So we'll use parentheses, and that's how we make a string property, right? So the quote is a string. The movie that it came from is also a string. So let's do that same thing again. So NDB dot string property. There we go. And then you're probably thinking that everything are string properties. I assure you it has things like integers and so on. But let's go ahead and make the last touch date time, right? So I'm going to be a little bit wordy here. I'm going to be underscoring because we're in Python world. So last touch date time. And what that's going to be is an NDB dot, and there's a date time property. Okay. And then into the constructor, I'm going to pass in an argument. So, so one of them here, if I hit control space, it gives me what I want for these guys. I don't need a name, and I think what I'll do is I'll take the auto now, and I can say that equals true, right? So I automatically, when I create it, I want it to set it to the current time, right? So that's how we do that. We set this auto now parameter. All right, and that would be good. But remember, I might have mentioned briefly in an earlier lesson that what actually happens is with Proto Data Store, it's actually using for the message, it's using the model, right? So it's doing this conversion here. So we do have to give it a little bit of information to say what from our model we want exposed for message passing, right? So there's one more line that I'm going to put in here, and this is people usually use an underscore at the beginning, supposedly for private things. So message fields schema, right? And then I'm going to give it here a tuple of things that I want exposed, and they're just going to be quoted, right? So most of them are going to be the things that are here, right? So so I want my web apps or whatever to have access to the quote, to the movie, to the last touch date time, right, like that. And I'm also going to add in one more here. I'll actually put it at the beginning, though it's not really important. I just it's important here. Is we're also going to be exposing something called the entity key. And I know, even though we're in Python world, the actual thing is entity. It's camel case here. But that's essentially going to function as the ID of this app. So we're going to be doing things like deleting by ID. So we're going to need to expose it to our to the interface, right? So pretty decent, right? And honestly, that's all we have for the model object, right? So a couple of strings, a date time, and then this message field schema to say what's exposed outside of the model, right? Next time we'll come back and we will tie this together and we'll do some testing of it using a web app, right? See you then.